2 years ago, I packed my car, old Chevette, 84. Drove it till the engine smoked, hitched a ride through San Antone. Got a job, tending bar, let a senorita break my heart. I wanna sink my feet into some Illinois clay, walk along the cornfield in the cool of the day, get a dog and chase.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Common Ground podcast. It is me solo today. I usually have my trusty partner, Common Ground Chris, with me, but Chris is traveling today. But I have the opportunity and honor to have a nice discussion here with Jim Lillard, who is a Common Ground user. He's a landowner, and get to hear his story, his thoughts on Common Ground, the platform, the process, everything along those lines. So welcome, Jim. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks, Brad. Appreciate the opportunity. You guys have a pretty slick tool, and glad I got to be one of the users for that. So helped us out a little bit in the pocketbook.
No, that's great, man. That's great. And yeah, thank you. Thanks for taking the time and just kind of talking through what your experience was with the site, the platform. Where are you from?
I'm originally from Northeast Missouri. Grew up on a farm outside Quincy, Illinois, on the good side of the river. Let's see, we had row crops and cattle, and was there until I graduated high school. Went off to college in the once great state of Illinois at WIU. Majored in math and ag econ, so I have a little bit of an ag background. After that, I was kind of off the farm from there on, working various jobs in various industries. Currently, I'm a supply chain professional for an aerospace company here in St. Louis.
Nice, nice. And so your farm that we were able to help you with, 115 total acre farm roughly in Rawls County, Missouri. Tell me a little bit about that piece. How long have you guys had that? Has that been in the family for a long time?
It was in my mother's side of the family. My grandfather and his grandfather before him farmed it. I think it started off quite a bit larger. I think total there's 185 acres there, and 115 of it's tillable. It's in the Salt River bottom. Had the tendency to flood quite a bit till they constructed the Mark Twain Lake and the dam there. That kind of made the farm. It's pretty good piece of ground, I would say. Spots of it are kind of wet, but with the opportunity we got through you guys, hopefully we'll be able to do some improvements to it and make it even better. So.
No, I love that. And we speak about that. We've been talking about that more and more, that, we love to see capital improvements on farms. That, if the landowner has the financial ability to do that, that it adds so much value to these tracks, whether it be, some risers, some field tile, some, timber edge work, stuff along those lines. But what we found is that the landowner has to be achieving enough annual return to be able to put the money back into the farm that is ultimately so valuable.
Yeah, I agree with that. We just did some tile work on another farm next to my mother's house in Lewis County, Missouri, and we spent a pretty good chunk of change. Tile's not cheap right now. It's got a little price to it, so we spent some money. I think we made some pretty good improvements. We've gained probably 3 or 4 acres on a 40-acre patch. So hopefully it'll take some time to pay for itself. But I think overall, just with the helping the erosion and hopefully improving some of the yields and just gaining the extra few acres, it should help.
Absolutely. And we'll be able to we'll plug in some maps and kind of just an idea for folks to be able to see the outline of this current track that we're talking about, this Rawls County, Missouri farm. And so just kind of give them an idea. I believe that farm had an NCCPI of just shy of 77. So it is pretty strong should be strong yielding dirt down in
Right.
there. Fertile, and it's probably just a matter more than anything of keeping it dry, right? Trying to keep the
Yeah,
water.
that's the big thing right now. It has some wet spots out there, and we've done some drainage work, but it's been quite a few years ago when my father was still around. But it needs a little bit more maintenance right now. And like I said, hopefully we get the opportunity to do that. The biggest problem right now with doing maintenance like that is finding the folks that have the time to do it. It seems like there's only so many of them, and they only have so many hours in the day, and you have to have dry weather and dry ground to do it. And you can't have crops on the ground. Um, so
Yeah, and I've got a few personal friends that are in that
Mhm.
space of field tiling, and one manufactures field tiling themselves, but he also installs it. That sort of, and every time I talk to him, he is like, it's like he's booked out for forever, seemingly. That
yeah, those guys are busy. I know the gentleman I work with. Uh, we were fortunate to get it on his schedule this year. So, but he's I think he's booked out this coming year so already.
Yeah. And it's incredible how much value it adds to these tracks that, if at some point in time somebody decides, hey, we are as a family going to decide to sell these properties, is one thing that it adds value there. But on the flip side, the value added that you can get from an annual return standpoint on a tiled field compared to a non-tiled field, we've seen it firsthand at CommonGround that it does truly make a big difference. That it's something that I believe will pay for itself over time, very much so. So that's great, man, and giving you the opportunity to maybe do some more of that work down on this farm specifically, with your increase that you were able to see in this funnel area. What was your previous situation? What, I guess, drove you to give us the opportunity to help you find a new operator for this farm?
Well, we had partnered with a family that we had known, and they had farmed it probably since the early 2000s. They did a great job up until the last couple of years. It got to the point where we knew, or my brother and I knew, we needed a transition. So the contract was up this year, and we gave them the opportunity to jump in on your tool. But fortunately, or however you want to look at it, we were able to go a different direction.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, he had it at a pretty good price for the last few years, and with our other farms, I kind of had a pretty good idea of what we should be getting, and we had the contract with him, and I heard you guys on the Farm for Profit podcast, and I'm like, man, that sounds pretty slick, and especially with all the technology in agriculture today, I mean, this is just another tool in the toolbox to use to get the most out of your operation. So
Yeah, or at least it. In obviously, I'm sure. I'm not exactly sure what your numbers were previously, but I believe you got a lease out of $295 an acre on a 3-year lease on this specific farm. And it's I would argue it would have been very challenging for you to.
yeah, I agree. I mean, I've had people that go out and they put their farms on Facebook Marketplace, and then you just get bombarded with all kinds of emails and questions, and just kind of soft inquiries is what I would call them, and not too many serious folks. And it's hard to filter that out. And I think with your tool and system, it does that for you up front. You get the serious inquiries, and not only that, you get the background of some of the farmers. We didn't go with obviously with the highest bid. I wanted to look at the best value for us and what would give us hopefully a partnership long term. And I think with the folks that we ended up going with, it sounded like they're pretty good folks, and happy to move forward. So
Well, we love to see those new, like, positive, strong, hopefully long-term relationships.
Mhm.
Is what we're
Absolutely.
really going for. And I need to backtrack there. The high bid on your track was 295 an acre, and I think speaking to exactly what you're saying there, you as the landowner, through Congress, you never have to take that high bidder. It's still ultimately up to you to be able to review all these bidders' profiles once the bidding's done. Kind of go through and we have pretty strong resources internally here to be able to help at least say we can get letters of solvency for you, Jim. We can, all of this sort of good stuff. But ultimately, it's still up to you as the landowner out of the bidders. And I think you would have had 4 or 5 different bidders on this track to be able to choose from. And
a lot of the tools you guys are using, I see used in industry today, just various industries where you get the background on the whoever the supplier is going to be, in my case, or customer, whatever you want to look at, and you get a good understanding of their financial situation along with their capabilities, whether they're able to have the equipment out there that can actually take on additional ground. Biggest thing today, I mean, you guys know with the prices at the market, things are kind of coming down. I'm a little hesitant to get partnered with somebody that's going to have a high level of debt out there, because a lot of these guys you see today, they're constantly trading equipment. And I think there's going to come to a point where you're going to have to learn how to maintain some of that equipment. And I think we found somebody who can do that.
No, that's spectacular. I just love hearing that. So like, walk me through, I guess, your thoughts of the process from start to finish. If like you heard about us on the Farmers for Profit podcast, we really like those guys over there. And I think they understand very clearly what we're doing, good, bad, the other. But they have been good proponents of what we're doing. I think the space is starting to understand that this is the way it's migrating. CommonGround just happens to be the leader in the space, the most robust platform out there to easily for the landowner, at least if nothing else, understand what the market's willing to bear at that point in time. You said all the stipulations, stuff along those lines. But so you heard about us on Farm for Profit. You reached out. You probably spoke with our gal Ezra.
Yeah, I spoke to Ezra. I dropped a note to I guess on the website, and Ezra reached out. She was great to work with. I may not have been as responsive as I should be at times, but she was good about following up. So kudos to her.
That's great. She'll love to hear that. We're very thankful to have her. She does a great job, and she gets a lot of good feedback. So I appreciate another one.
Yeah. And then from there, we just kind of talked. I gave her some information. You guys set up the profile for us, and I reviewed it and kind of gave her an outline of our current contract, and you guys took it and ran with it pretty much. You posted it out there. You kept me updated. I mean, it was great. Just kind of see it. It was kind of neat to watch the bids come in and go. And I kind of did one thing. I had mentioned Facebook Marketplace. I had taken what you guys stuck out there, and I'm kind of members around here, different groups, and that I stuck into one of those groups, and holy cow, it jumped up quite a bit. That one day I did that, I was like, I had to turn that off. It was, I was being bombarded with questions.
Sure. And that's, and I mean, a nice part of that is it is fairly, as the landowner through the system, you can be as hands-on or hands-off as you would like. Obviously you were able to see all the bids as they would come in and that sort of stuff. But I think it's really individual by person to person anyway, that some folks just say, run it, you guys take care of everything. I just want to sit on the sideline. And then there's others who are very, very involved throughout the entire bidding timeline, so on and so forth. And so everybody's a little bit different, but I love getting the an aspect side from somebody who is like, you understand the farm, right?
I think. I mean, I talk to people down in this area, in the St. Louis area, that have no background in agriculture, and they wouldn't know the first thing. They're like, well, how much would that bring, or how much was that rent for? And I mean, I'm just guessing when I give them a shout something out, but you guys have the numbers to back it up on your tool, and I can't say enough good things about it.
And that's, to me, it's so valuable for, just like you're saying, there's so many people who just there's no good resources out there. And so
right. And people want hunting ground. They don't, I mean, we could try to make a full profit on the farm by turning that over, but or having you guys do the hunting part of it. But I've got a couple boys that want to get out there and freeze in the wintertime and try to shoot a deer or two. So we keep that part of it to ourselves.
No, that's great. That's great. Are you going to have any more opportunity for, I guess, like while we're talking, are there any other tillable tracks that farmers listening, operators might have interest going forward of your family tracks in particular?
Yeah, not at this time.
Yeah.
You never know what's down the road, but we're pretty happy where we're at today, and the return we're getting very comparable to what we're getting now at the Rawls County place.
Good. No, I love to hear that. Yeah, man, thank you. I so greatly appreciate just a kind testimonial. And for full transparency, I didn't pay Jim to speak nicely about us or anything like that, but yeah, man, we so appreciate it. You, your family, and just your kind words about our company and the direction that we're heading here.
Yeah, I think you guys hit a sweet spot out there that wasn't being serviced, and there's an opportunity now to just get the word out. And I know some farmers, I've seen Brad talk about it, and some of the farm for profit guys talk about how a lot of farmers may not like the auction style rent, but things are changing in the ag industry in general, just with the technology and the equipment, the seeds, the fertilizer, and the way you apply it. And this is just another evolution of farming. So,
and the operator that you chose, it would have arguably been challenging for you to even know that this guy would be interested in farming.
Absolutely.
Right?
I mean, again, you get it out there and they learn about it, and it just opens up a whole nother supermarket or group of I said eyes, I guess, to see what's out there and get an opportunity, because hopefully I try to look at it as a partnership. I want him to grow and succeed, and same for us. I mean, we want to make sure everyone's happy in the end. Sometimes that's hard to do, but
and that's for long-term been our motto, that we're helping transparency to landowner, but we're ultimately helping farmers grow their operations. That, I think it's as positive on that side as anything in the space right now to be able to grow, that it's so challenging for these guys to go find additional acres, that has seemingly become so critical that you either out yield these prices or you simply just continue to farm larger numbers of acres.
It's so cost prohibitive to go out and just buy land right now with the prices they are. I mean, leasing and rents are about the only way you can do it, in my mind.
Absolutely. Well, Jim, thank you. I'm not going to take a whole lot of your time here. I so greatly appreciate you joining us. And as always, if you need anything from CommonGround folks, you just speak up and we got you.
Absolutely. Thank you again.
Everyone, thanks. Yeah, thank you everyone for joining us. Jim Lillard, beautiful farm there in Rawls County, Missouri. Everyone, please remember, join the CommonGround community. We still, to this day, have no sponsors, so I don't have anybody to thank for their sponsorship yet. But maybe one of these days we'll find the right fit. So, Jim, again, many thanks, and that's it for this episode of the CommonGround podcast.